Okay, good. Welcome, everyone. Just kind of giving one more minute to get some folks out of the waiting room, but thank you for joining us for our town hall on the Masters of Biomedical Science program at AT-Still. I'm Dr. Michael DePalma. I'm the program director, and I'm also a PA. I've been a PA for 21 years, 6 of which I spent in PA education. So I know a little bit about what it takes to get into PA school and certainly get through PA school. I've also held a few roles as in PA administration and leadership. So hopefully I can share a little bit of experience today about our program and at least get you a little excited about being a PA. So we welcome everybody for joining us today. Also joining us is Sarah Amini-Rod, who's the program manager for the Masters of Biomedical Science program. And you're free to enter any questions in the chat box. At the end, Sarah will go through those and we can answer them one by one. If you're feeling particularly brave, you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask the questions to the group as well. So let's get started about what our program is, or what the school is. AT-Still University is it's a nationwide school. They have campuses mainly in Arizona, Missouri, and California, but over 100 different sites and a number of different programs. So in addition to PA programs, both at the Arizona campus and at the California campus, they also have osteopathic medical schools and dental schools, a number of allied health programs across the country. Just for clarification, there is another Masters of Biomedical Science program at the Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine program. It is a residential program and it's 2 years, but it's designed really for folks interested in going to osteopathic medical school or dental school. Our program solely focuses on PA education, so that's why it's abbreviated and that's why it's online. AT-Still University's mission statement, a couple key points as you read through this that I want to highlight is that the mission of the university is to prepare highly competent professionals. And you're going to see later in the talk how this really ties into our program. We look to focus on whole person healthcare. So again, that kind of fits the osteopathic approach to medicine, but also with specialty in underserved populations and increasing diversity. And that's really what kind of brought this program to light is how can we get those students are maybe facing some challenges getting into PA school, how can we help them really to achieve those goals? So we developed this program. It's a 9-month asynchronous, completely online program. A total of 45 credit hours. That's a lot of credit hours in 9 months. And as I go through kind of the talk, we'll explain why there's that many credits. But it's really designed, as I mentioned, for PA education. And it's for the students to be able to demonstrate their performance and academic success. So if you've applied to PA school in the past and have kind of not been successful at getting in because of academic record or because you've taken one class post-baccalaureate, and maybe they've said, encouraged you to take additional coursework, this is a program that would be able to enable you to demonstrate that performance and academic success. Sorry, I got a fruit fly buzzing around here. So why did this program come to fruition? And if you're interested in PA school, these are some things that you'd be very interested in. So 309 currently accredited programs in the country, PA programs. This is projected to rise to 353 programs by 2026 or 2026. What does that mean? Competition, competition, competition. Programs are going to be competitive for looking for the ideal student to fit their program. Since there's so many programs out there, they're going to be looking for ideal students who can get in and succeed in their program. It's also competition for the slots to get into PA school. So that's where you come in. In the 2020 to 2021 application cycle, there were over 30,000 applicants. Only 11,000 got in. So that's an acceptance rate of approximately 37%. What's happening to that other 63%? There are ones that are trying to get into PA school that are not successful. So how can we help that 63% get into PA school? If you look at it on a chart, you can see that this has been a trend. Applications, even though the number of PA programs has been going up from year to year, the number of applications and the number of matriculants has been also rising at a very slow rate. So again, that kind of brings it back to competition for those slots. What are you facing to try and get into PA school? How are you comparing yourself against other students? So there's two main purposes for developing a program like this. And as an applicant, what are you looking for? You're looking for a program that helps you get into PA school, but you also want a program that's going to help you succeed when you're in PA school. So looking at some of these numbers from the Physician Assistant Education Association, about almost 30% of students have applied more than once. So in one cycle, they've applied to 2 cycles, 3 cycles, 4 cycles. That means they're trying and trying and trying. On average, it's taking about 2 years to get in. So this program can kind of help shorten that period for you. The other point is once you get into PA school, we want to make sure that you succeed, that you can get through the program. When you're in PA school, there's a couple different categories that you can end up in. That's if you're struggling academically, you can be dismissed for academic reasons, and about 5% of students get dismissed. So think about that 11,000 that actually got into PA school. 5% of them aren't getting through the program. 9% face deceleration, and that can be a combined short or long term. And what that means is anywhere from repeating a course to having to repeat an entire semester. So you have to take the rest of the year off and come back the following year. That's a lot of money out of your pocket. That's a lot of time away from you being able to get to your goal sooner. And a program like this can help to reduce that likelihood of deceleration. So we want to improve those graduation rates, and we want to get people to goal. So getting back to your application, how can I be a more competitive applicant? Some of these things are things that our program can help you with, and some are just areas that I wanted to share with you in my experience as being on a PA admissions committee. So the biggest area, GPA. If your GPA needs a little bit of rehab, or you've had that little hiccup in undergraduate, or more importantly, it's been a while since you've had some of these courses and they need to be refreshed, both overall and science GPAs can benefit from this program. Remember, there's 45 credits at stake here. 28 of those are from in the sciences, so that it will definitely help to improve your science GPAs. This program, because it's very compressed, will help you to demonstrate that record of academic success. And what I mean by that is programs will look to see, did you take one class at a community college over the summer and you got an A in it, and that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can handle multiple courses at one time. Our compressed schedule will help you to be able to demonstrate that. Personal statement is another area that our program really helps with. We have a medical writing course to help focus on how to write that good, some hints and tips on writing that good personal statement. Areas that are more outside the scope of our program, but they certainly want to help with your applications, would be healthcare experience, any mission-oriented activities, research. Those are all areas that, depending on the program that you're applying for, anything that you can do to boost those will help your application. Finally, ask the question, if you've applied to a PA school and your application has not been accepted, or if you've gone through the interview process and you were not selected for a slot, ask why. Most PA programs will be happy to share, look, this is what we're looking for. This is what you didn't meet, whether it's GPA, whether it's healthcare experience. And if you ask and get that information, then reach out and see what is something that you can do to improve that. Again, GPA, sciences, that's a program or that's something our program can help you to excel at. So what our program does, again, I keep going back to the fact that it's really PA centric. So it's to students to get into PA school. It's going to improve that undergraduate science coursework. So we take that to the next level. These are graduate courses, so it's a little bit more involved. It's at a very rigorous pace. The first two 10-week blocks are very heavy by design to help you be able to demonstrate that you're capable of handling that. The big benefit about our program is it's completely asynchronous and online, so it allows you to complete the coursework at home without having to live on campus, and really at your own pace. We do have weekly assignments that are due, but being able to balance that also teaches a very valuable lesson of time management, which is something that is extremely important in PA school, and where students typically struggle is learning those time management skills in the first semester of PA school, and then they're kind of already behind the 8 ball. So our goal is to teach you those time management skills, good time management skills, early in the program, and that way, when you get to PA school, you'll already have a good jump on the other students. I keep mentioning the upper level science courses in our curriculum. So we do have a clinically oriented anatomy. A prerequisite requirement in our program is you do have to have anatomy. That's because in 10 weeks, it's very difficult to teach you an entire anatomy class. So this anatomy uses some good technology to kind of refresh your memory and really help to develop those good skills. We have 3 courses in physiology that focus on organs of the human body, biochemistry, microbiology, and infectious disease. I mentioned we take those undergraduate classes and we kind of take that one step further. So if you've had general micro as an undergrad, you probably learned about soil microbes and air microbes and everything else. This focuses really on infectious diseases and microbiology from a human disease standpoint. We have 2 courses in pharmacology, very important courses, one in immunology, one in genetics. And then we also have some social science courses that are extremely important to develop those writing skills. I mentioned the personal statement. We have a course in medical ethics and one in social and behavioral determinants of health. This is a course that's designed to help you learn why we teach or treat certain populations the way we do. And learning population medicine, why something is done differently in a rural community versus an inner city community, based on the resources that are available. So these are very, very important topics that you'll learn in PA school, but it's challenging in PA school when you're trying to learn medicine and you're learning all these other concepts. By presenting them now, once you get to PA school, you're going to really be able to latch on to that knowledge and that good learning behavior of why we're doing things, because it'll make a little bit more sense. Finally, we have 3 capstone courses that really focus on getting you excited about being a PA, researching the profession, learning a little bit more about team-based medicine, interviewing PAs, things like that, to really bring the whole program together as far as pursuing PA school and a PA program. So our calendar, our next program starts July 15th, 2024. AT still runs on 10-week blocks. So we have what we call Fall Block 1 that runs from July 15th to September 22nd, 10 weeks. Fall Block 2, you get a week off, and then Fall Block 2 is September 30th to December 8th. You get a few weeks off before Spring Block 1 starts January 6th to March 16th, and then you'll notice Spring Block 2 is only 6 weeks, and that's because it's Capstone 3. We'll finish off with that final capstone course to round out the program. Again, this is all by design, because if you're looking to get into PA school, you may be interviewing during those times. And many programs start in May, June, July. About 75 programs start during that time frame. So it would be perfect if you're applying during that time that you would be able to finish our program and get into the next program. So that application window is open now and will run through June 14th of this year, and then start in July 15th. And then the following year, in June 6th, 2025, we do an in-person graduation, which will be at Mesa, Arizona, at our Arizona campus. And we certainly welcome as many of you that are able to make it. Right now, our current class has 35 students, and we currently have 26 who are coming to graduation. So we're very excited, and we look forward to being able to meet everyone in person. We do share a lot of Zoom or screen time back and forth with question and answer and office hours, but it's always nice to meet you in person. So this is a calendar. It's also on our website. It's a little bit small, but I really wanted to put this out there for you to see just exactly what type of compressed schedule we're talking about. We're basically taking 15 credits in that first 10 weeks, 15 credits with 6 classes in that second 10 weeks. So that's 30 credits in the first semester. By December, from July to December, you'll have 30 credits. Now that does, as I mentioned, 2 things. That helps you build those time management skills so you can really balance your workload but it also helps to demonstrate that sustained academic ability that admissions committees will be looking for. They'll want to be able to see, can you handle a heavy course load? And these are advanced courses. So, you know, it's not going to be kind of a cakewalk. You're going to be working pretty hard to get through these classes. Spring Block 1 then finishes its 11 credits. So by no means a cakewalk. It's still a lot of work. And then Spring Block 2 is just the capstone course, and that's to finish off your major writing assignment. That's a 6-week course, but it's also worth 4 credits. So I encourage you not to take that last block lightly, because there is a lot of work that needs to be done for that. So as I just mentioned, this kind of explains the same thing. 30 credits in those first 2 blocks demonstrates that sustained academic ability, which is what a lot of admissions committees are going to want to see. That academic performance, provided you do well. And then the course load is similar to what you can expect in PA school. You're going to be juggling multiple courses at one time. A lot of information thrown at you. PA education has often been equated to, it's like taking a drink out of a fire hydrant. There's a lot of information coming at you at one time. And this program can kind of help to prepare you for a lot of what's coming down the road. One of our highlights of our program is our faculty. We're not all PAs. I take pride in the fact that we have a number of non-PA faculties who are experts in their fields, such as physiology and biochemistry. That's what they do. They teach it. And then we have a number of PAs that also teach in our program, so you can learn from PAs from the PA education side of things. We have one instructor who teaches ethics for us, who has a Master's of Jurisprudence in Health Law. He's also a PA, so he can tie those two together. And our pharmacist, our PharmD, who teaches pharmacology, also is also a PA. So she's teaching pharmacology from the standpoint of what you need to know in PA school. So who should apply? Hopefully you're getting a feeling that if you need to improve your overall or science GPAs, this would be a perfect program for you. Non-traditional PA students that might have been out of school for a while, who might think about changing careers. It's been a while since you've had your upper level science courses. This course can help to refresh that knowledge for you, give you a little more confidence getting into the program. You'll hear this term a lot. It's called a gap year, and we're not actually calling it a gap year because technically a gap year means you're taking it off, which is a gap. So it's more of a bridge year. And what that means is you're bridging your undergraduate education with graduate school. If you just need an extra year of maturity, if you need an extra year to stay home, if you need that extra time to work on some coursework to ensure that you're going to get into the program that you want to, this is a program that can certainly help that. We really tried to make this program as easy, or I don't want to say as easy, as few barriers to get into as possible. So really prerequisites include an anatomy course. It has to be a full anatomy. If you have A and P, you have to have 2 courses in A and P, so you get the full anatomy component. 2 classes in English. Obviously, we've kind of demonstrated that we're doing a lot of writing in this class, or in the program, so you do have to have some English. GPA. Now, the GPA used to be minimum was 2.75. And the reason we had 2.75 is because if you got a GPA of 3.6 in the program, in the entire program, depending on how many credits you have, if you have a standard bachelor's degree, a 3.6 in our program would roughly get your GPA up to around a 3.0, which is the minimum GPA of a lot of PA programs. If you have more credits, or you've had to retake classes over and over, that's going to really change your calculations. So I encourage you all to kind of do your own calculations with the number of credits that would be available for you. But what we were finding is there are students that are out there who are very capable of demonstrating coursework. If they've had a rough semester during undergraduate, or it's been a little while, or if you've had some issues that just kind of prohibited you from doing well, and your GPA just needs to be improved a little bit, this program can help. And even though if you have a 2.5, you may not get to the 3.0 minimum of some programs, there are a lot of programs that are out there that will look at the whole student, not just the GPA. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of programs out there that have that 3.0 as a hard and fast, which means if you apply and you're 2.99, your application will probably get kicked out by the computer. But I encourage you to research the programs that have less than the 3.0 or a minimum, or they look at the whole application if they don't have any minimum, because those are the programs that by you demonstrating you've done good work and been successful in this program, it can really help to improve your odds of getting into that program. So that's why I just wanted to kind of focus on that 2.5. It is a 2.5 minimum GPA for both science and overall GPA. I mentioned the mission at the beginning of the talk. And why did I bring that up? Because, you know, I tell students this all the time. When you're interviewing for a PA school, you're interviewing them just as well as they're interviewing for you. And why is that important? Because it has to be the right fit. You need to go to a PA program that you can ensure, do everything you can to be successful. And if you go and interview and get accepted to a program that you don't have that confidence in their curriculum, or it just doesn't line up with the way you learn, or you wanted something that's more rural or underserved population and their programs don't support that, then I don't want to say you're setting yourself up for failure, but you could do more with a program that would align with your own missions. And that's why I say, what's your mission? Does it align with our program admissions? I don't want to bring in students under false pretenses. I want you to understand the program that we're offering. I want to be encouraging, and I want to try and get everybody into PA school that we can, but our mission has to line up with your mission in order for it to be a good fit for both of us. If you've noticed on our website, we do offer the guaranteed interview with the ASHS PA program. That's the Arizona school. And right now you have to have a minimum of a GPA, which means you have to complete the program first. So if you're applying this year, you complete the program in 2025, then the guaranteed interview would be for that next cycle that you would be applying to. You also have to meet the minimum requirements. As I mentioned, there's 309 PA programs out there. Most of them have similar prerequisite requirements, but they're all, you know, they all have some different component. So I really encourage you to look at the prerequisite requirements that you're interested in applying to the program and make sure that you meet that. You do have to meet the minimum requirements. If you get a 3.8 in the Masters of Biomedical Science program, but your overall GPA is still a 2.8 or a 2.9, that's not meeting the minimum requirements. So I just like to be clear about the guaranteed interview, and I want to be upfront with that. Financial aid for our program. I will say what I like to say about financial aid is it's available, and that's all I like to say about it. It's very specialized and it's individualized. So because of that, ATSU offers financial aid counselors that will do one-on-one meetings to see what is the best approach or strategy for you. There's just so many different options that are out there that they specialize in this. And if you have any questions about it, and you should, because paying for your education and paying for education in PA school should be a big concern for you. I encourage you to reach out and talk with them. And there's their contact information, which is also on our webpage. Just a quick disclaimer, these are things that I've already mentioned, but just to focus, this is a program for PA education. Because of that, if you're interested in another healthcare discipline, it doesn't mean it won't apply. It means we can't guarantee our prerequisites will line up with the prerequisites of another program. I mentioned that the KCOM, the Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine, has a master's program that's designed for osteopathic medical school and dental school. If those are your interests, I encourage you to pursue that program, because attending our program, they probably, you know, a medical school may not look at our courses the same way because it has a PA-centric focus on it. And then the guaranteed interview, as I mentioned, you do have to complete the program. At this time, it's only for the Arizona campus. We are exploring other options with other PA programs to offer something similar. But at this time, it's just the Arizona School of Health Sciences PA program. Okay, ultimately, I like to finish up by saying our goal is to help you reach your goal. If you want to go to PA school, that's what our program is really focused to help you get into, or at least get your foot in the door to get that interview, and then we want to see you wearing that white coat. Some contact information. Here's my email address and Sarah's email address. We have a program email address. You're welcome to use any of those. Joe Kopelman is the enrollment counselor for the Masters of Biomedical Science program. If you submit an inquiry to this email address, it will most likely go to Joe, but Joe will be the one that reaches out to you and kind of goes through your application. But you're certainly welcome to contact Sarah and myself. Okay. That is the end of what I have here, and I will go back to, this is the question time, but I'm going to go back to this last page just so you can get our email address and QR codes. So are there any questions at this point?
At this time, we don't have any questions in the chat. You're welcome to put your questions in the chat and I'll ask them for you, or you can unmute and raise your hand and we will let you ask your question live. Okay.
So there is a question in the chat.
One just came through. Yep.
Yeah.
So
how many students in the previous MSBSM class were granted interviews to the PA program, and how many of them were accepted? So we're currently in our first cohort right now. Our program just started last July, and our students are still finishing. So they won't finish until May of this year, and then we'll be able to answer that question a little bit better. I think the number that are eligible versus the ones that select to have the interview are going to be a little bit different. A majority of our students are doing well academically, and those are ones that entered with lower GPAs. So it is very encouraging for us to see that they're meeting these goals that we've set and that they've set for them. So it's a great question. It's just one that we'll be able to answer in May.
Okay, so another question is, are DACA applicants accepted into this program?
DACA. Expand on DACA, because it has a lot of different, that acronym has several different.
Right. Daisy, do you want to unmute and ask your question, or do you want to put in the chat exactly what you're referring to with DACA?
Yeah, so DACA is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's pretty much for people that are undocumented. So I was just wondering if you guys also accepted.
So we take international students, and you do have to have an undergraduate degree to get into our program from an accredited university, which the ATSU would have to kind of match up your prerequisite credentials with the program that you have, because students that are coming into our program or trying to get into PA school that may be coming from another country that have a lot of medical experience, they need to have a US degree to get into a lot of PA programs. So we've kind of, again, are trying to improve that opportunity for students by saying you don't need a US degree, you just need to have an international bachelor's degree or equivalent to get through our master's program, which would give you a US degree and make you eligible for a lot of PA programs that are out there. So specific questions about admissions and enrollments and qualifications, I would probably defer that to enrollment services for at least the university standpoint of what their guidelines are.
Do we have any other questions? Oh, okay. Would you suggest the program for students who still aren't sure of their graduate plans, but know that we need to improve our science course / GPA? For example, I have seriously considered PA school, but I'm also very interested in dental, and I'm still not sure of the future path I want to take, but I know I need to work on my GPA.
Yeah, a really good question. And I'm going to put that back on you and say it depends on where you see yourself going. I encourage all students. This program is great in teaching you what a PA is and what a PA does, because when you get through it, you're either going to say, this is absolutely what I want to do. I would hate for you to invest money to say, I really don't want to be a PA, but it's better to learn that at this stage than to actually apply to PA school and start paying, you know, twice or 3 times as much for PA school. I would say, you know, you're welcome to apply. there is kind of an application deadline to get your application, or at least if we offer a seat, to say yes, they'll take it. And then you really don't have to let us know until 2 weeks before the class, right around there, 2 or 3 weeks before the class matriculates. If you say, okay, I decided against this, you know, there's no harm in applying to get more information to see. But, you know, we've had 2 students that dropped out, 3 actually. When we started the program, in the first 4 weeks, we had 3 students drop out. 1 dropped out because they got into PA school, which is great. We're very happy to hear that. That's a great reason to have to drop out. 2 of them dropped out because their goals changed. We certainly don't want to lose students, but if it's for the reason that I've decided not to be a PA, or I've changed and want to go into research, you know, those are kind of the life lessons that it's good to learn. We will certainly be here as a program if you need to take more time and say, I don't know if I'm ready to start this program in July, you know, consider it next July. If you need to improve that GPA and you are thinking about dental school, you know, the residential program, and there are other programs that are out there, most of them are in person. The KCON program is 2 years and it does focus heavily on research, but it is really focused for dental and osteopathic medical school. So there really is 2 different paths that you could take for this. So I appreciate your struggle and which way you're going with this. If maybe doing a little bit more investigation of the professions helps you to decide, once you learn a little bit more, then maybe you can make a little more sound decision. I know that was a waffly answer, but I kind of like to give you as many options so if you haven't thought about them. That's something you're more than welcome to reach out to either of us and have a discussion. If you want to talk some more about that, I would be happy to.
Absolutely. So we have another question. Since this is an asynchronous program, are we still able to meet with our instructors, and how much access do we have to them?
Yeah, really good question. And it is asynchronous, but I will say in the courses that I teach, I do recorded lectures. So you get to see my face in the little corner of the bubble, which I like to do as a component. It almost feels like an in class. I have weekly office hours, but most of our instructors are always office hours by appointment, always willing to meet and go over anything with students that are struggling or just want some, you know, a little more one-on-one time. We're always willing to set that up with them. I think one of the big things we always think about with asynchronous is that we're not in touch, and you get weekly emails, you get weekly announcements. I'm always reaching out to students. Some are a little bit more on autopilot where they don't talk or reach out, and others I hear from regularly, and that's great. You know, I think we really try and focus on how you learn best. And some students learn better by just let me do the work, and other students learn better by I would like to talk this through. And that's why we have a program that's kind of like this, because we can really reach out to a number of different learners to help with your learning style to get that information. We by design don't have, there are some group activities that you'll do and you'll meet with your instructors, but we try not to have anything as a requirement to maintain the asynchronous, because some students are still going to be working or doing something like that. So your time is just as valuable, but we are all available to meet with you. Thanks for the question.
Are there any other questions? And again, if you'd like to, you can also unmute and ask your question as well.
Well, you have our contact information. If you do have any questions, Sarah will send out a recording of the session today. So if you'd like to go through it and maybe hear something again that I didn't make quite clear, or you're always welcome to reach out to us, and we'll be happy to get some more answers back to you if you have some other questions.
Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much. We look forward to seeing your applications. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us.